All right, we are back with half-baked thoughts on training. This is the Crü England roundtable. Well, it's rectangular. Dude, where's the saw? Fucking start again. We gotta start all over.
All right, boys. Welcome to Wolf Den. Topics of conversation include aging and what you can do the older you get to still be making gains
And tracking them off.
and getting the mom.
Since we're straight to come as they come.
That has to be disclosed.
We're all straight here. I think, one thing we were talking about, I think one thing is like staying consistent with programming and just like staying focused on your goals, right? Like over a long period of time, uh, people change what their goals are and then they lose focus in whatever they're trying to chase, right? So like if you're trying to hit something and you're struggling with a certain program, you got to give it an honest go, right? And like you got to know what your weaknesses are too. So like, let's say you're weak out of the bottom of the squat. This is what we were talking about earlier. Like, why the hell are you doing reverse band work? Like, just
Right.
work on pause squats or pin squats until you get
Or
good,
box squat.
or box squats until
Big
you
bang.
get good out of the bottom of the hole. Like, why are you program hopping? Work on your weak spots,
Right.
and then you'll get stronger, but just don't have ADD about it.
Yeah, and being honest, so this is something that me and Eddie, we always mentioned with Eddie, because it was like he was trying to be so focused on conjugate where his real priority was losing weight. I was like, lose weight. Like you don't have to follow max effort, dynamic effort, all this stuff. Just do what you want to build muscle, but like monitor the diet first, and like your priority is changing changing things so that you're actually hitting the calories that you need to hit and tracking that and being aware of that rather than snacking. And
Yeah.
it had nothing to do with like how he was trained.
I think there is something to be said about people having different strength limits at different sizes too,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like gaining weight intelligently versus just gaining weight to say, I want to get stronger, so I'm gonna bulk, right? And like, have you really developed the strength at the weight that you're at right now and maximize that and said, okay, I've hit my ceiling at 185 or 205, right? And then pushing your weight up slowly,
Yeah.
intelligently. And then if you see the numbers starting to follow, all right, then it makes sense to start gaining some more weight, maybe. But like if you're just as strong at 205 as you are at like 185 and you just gained weight, like what did you just accomplish?
Right.
Nothing. Nothing.
So that's where I like the OVR stuff for jumping. Because like if you're jumping the same height at a heavier weight, you're more powerful.
Yeah,
Because
you're
like
you're expressing
gravity,
force.
yeah, gravity is
Yes.
a constant.
Yeah.
So that's something where that's kind of an eye opener where it's like, and this was fun just recently with we ran 40-yard dashes. I haven't run more than 20 yards in 6 months or so. And so I've got Elizabeth that's 14, she's running track. And so she came to us to start lifting because her brother lifts with us. So I forced him to run too. And we're on I was like, yeah, all right, people,
Run,
let's
boy.
go. Let's see how fast we roll.
Run, boy.
But it was like, as we're running 40s, he ran like 6'4". His best usually is like when he was in better shape, he was at like a 5'5".
Mm-hmm.
And his sister's running, she ran 7:03, then 6'7" she was really on it on the second rep, and then 6'9" and she saw that her brother, who has 160 pounds on her, because he's stronger, he's able to be faster. And obviously, men and women have differences too. Leverages are different, all of that.
Sure.
But it was like just seeing, okay, expressing force. You can see that relative difference based on who's actually stronger and how strength relates, especially for like a 14-year-old girl that might not believe any of that. She's
Yeah.
never seen it.
Yeah.
I think that to touch on your point earlier in the kind of start of the conversation of people like need to dedicate some actual good time to a training regimen and like really focus on goals, because obviously like certain things will detract, like if you're trying to do like strength development and like endurance at the same time. It's like oil and water, you know, they're not really gonna mix super well. Um, and like in my own experience, I've learned as the time has gone on that, you know, a lot of time has gone by. Like I've sunk like 4 years into strength training and then now competing in powerlifting. It's like, I mean, a 6 month training cycle really isn't that long
It's
in
nothing.
the drop in the bucket. So like in order to really see true development over time, I feel like a nice chunk of time has to be dedicated. Unless, of course, like something happens and you feel as though a goal change has to occur earlier. But I mean, if I didn't put in this amount of time, I wouldn't have seen like all of this development, you know, 100+ pounds on bench, like, you know, 200 pounds on squat, stuff like that.
I think there's something to be said about getting back to basics too, and like working on no knee sleeves, no squat shoes, no compression, whatever, no wraps, like just getting out there and being like, I'm just gonna do like, how did you learn how to squat at first? Were you wearing squat shoes? You had no sleeves, you had no belt, no nothing. You gotta get those, just natural.
Jacked.
No, but I mean, I think you gotta get those natural reps in, even if it's just like, even if it's honest warm-up work, like you gotta just see like, because your body's then going to adapt to whatever that crutch is, right?
Right.
Like even if it's based out of a good place, right? Like you're recovering from an injury, you need a belt, but then all of a sudden you're like, I can't deadlift without my belt. Like, oh my God, like I can't touch a weight without my. It's like you gotta get under load and move it comfortably and confidently. If you were just like, and this is what we were saying earlier, like why does 225 feel so heavy?
Yeah.
If you're not trained up for it, right? Like you're just like walking out of the street and you say to somebody, why don't you squat 225 in your street clothes?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is kind of tough, but like there's something to be said about being able to just demonstrate your strength at any given moment,
Right.
you know, and building up that floor because that'll prevent injury long term. I have a sincere belief in that if you build up a reliance on your own strength rather than equipment, you will become less injury prone because you're going to wait. Like if you're relying on your belt,
Yeah.
if you're relying on your knee sleeves, if you're relying on whatever, those muscles, wherever they may be, are getting underdeveloped.
Yeah.
And you need to strengthen whatever your weak spots are. Same thing. Yeah. If your weak spot is bottom of the hole, if your weak spot is your lower back, if your weak spot is your knees, you gotta strengthen those spots.
Well, even with that, there's a level of awareness that you have to learn too, because like you always hear of people that like you bend over to pick up a pencil and your back goes out. And,
Yep.
like part of that is not being fully recovered, and other parts of that may be that you're not used to being in a fatigue state and putting your spine in an awkward position, or it could just be that you don't have awareness of where your body is in space just on a daily basis. And it could be all of those factors.
All of them, for sure. Younger guys, thoughts from the younger crew coming up with your training.
I would say that the stronger you get, the harder it gets to make progress. So you have to keep making more and more sacrifices to keep progressing. The things that you thought were sacrifices early on are not what you need to do now to get you to that next plate.
What's a weakness that you're working on right now?
Depth on squats has been
How are you addressing
an
it?
issue. Low pin squats have been like the
You
key.
go to
Yeah.
Okay.
Such a good correction because you can't really mess that up.
Yeah.
Like you can't cheat it. It's fail proof. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And then what we do, 3 sets of that to start, and then take the pins off and just squat
Okay.
for my top set. And
Okay.
that's been like a big game changer. So I would say too that even if you do everything right, injuries are very unpredictable.
Yep.
They can happen anyways. It's not always that you weren't recovering well. It's not that you didn't move well. There's nothing that really supports that. I think about the NFL and the amount of money they have, and they have injuries every single game. It's not, you know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
find all injuries are well below 80%.
yeah,
It's when you're kind of lazy or sloppy or not.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you're going for,
Rushing a warm.
yeah, if you're going to hit a double at 95%, you're fucking locked in. It's when you're sitting there halfway through your workouts, just getting a couple of reps in, that you get a little sloppy or lazy. That's where my injuries freaking happen.
Yeah, well, that's why, like I mentioned, with formerly college Matt that joined for this past episode on Thursday. Just linger. But
as a part of young crew, how do you feel about this? Jordan.
But so he had missed a bench at 255, and his one rep max used to be 315, and it was just laziness where he's not getting set the way that he needed to be set. And after having a discussion with him, we corrected it the same way, and then that flew. And then I was like, okay, you can go back up to 275. Okay, that looked fast. That was popping. Let's go with that. And then I was like, okay, 295. Then he hit 315 for a double, which he had only hit for one before. And it was just like, when you execute technique correctly, you can express the force that you actually have. Where a lot of people like it. It's going back to
It's the mentality of nobody said rep.
yeah.
First rep.
Well, that you always hear the people complaining about like jumps, like strength coaches that are like, oh yeah, if you can't, a double body weight squat, you shouldn't be jumping. And it's like, well, no, a lot of the people that can't squat double body weight just don't have that technique and the stability to be able to express the force that they do have. But give them a year, they're probably gonna squat double body weight. It's just that they're able to express the elastic properties of their muscles and tendons and tissue better in their sport because they're more comfortable and they have more reps in that sport doing whatever they do in that sport, whereas they don't have that learning when they're squatting.
If you're a jumper, who really cares what you squat?
Right.
It's more about what you jump.
Well, especially a jump, depending on how you jump, so like an approach jump is going to be a little bit more elastic than a standing vertical. But like it's going to correlate depending on how elastic you are too. So like the more elastic you are, the weaker you can be because you're just going to spring. Like the tall, skinny guys, they're going to just like you blink and they're already up in the air. Whereas like somebody that's when if Scant ever leaves the ground. He's gonna have to push. You're gonna see the earth pushing away from him because he has to push so much more.
That is something to be said about like older, just the Scant's not you, but just like older trainees generally is that force expression when you're younger. You find like if you ask a 20-year-old, when was the last time you ran all out?
Yeah.
Right. And they're a 20-year-old athlete, they're going to be like yesterday or 2 days ago. You ask a 40-year-old, when was the last time you ran 100? They might be like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. The last time that they express maximum intensity force output over a short period of time, not in weights, right? So like in any other field has been years, if not decades, right? And I think there is something to be said about like trying to move fast, like like in
most
age,
don't train for power,
right?
Whereas like what you're getting at is like especially with sprinting, everyone's going to pull their hamstring if they haven't run more than 10 or 20 yards because they just haven't done it. And force with mass times acceleration, where the acceleration is how fast they're moving,
And therein lies the rub. I do not do sprints from a dead stop.
Right.
I'll take 5-6 steps.
Right.
Sure.
Easing into it and
Sure.
then hit the fucking gas because
Right.
I cannot take
Right.
a dead stop.
I think what I'm trying to get at is for older trainees, there should still be an emphasis in your training, even if your goals are maximum strength output.
Yeah.
There should be some place in your training at some form of just trying to do maximum force out, right? And saying like, I gotta move fast.
Okay.
Like if you gotta throw 135 on the bar and just be
Yeah.
like, I want to see how fast I can move 135.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna blow out your hamstring. It's not gonna do anything, but like you gotta test because when weights get heavy, like you gotta still have some kind of force
Yeah.
generation other than just like I am moving this static
Have
slow
you done
shit.
the OBR?
Oh yeah, yeah, I love it. I love it.
Have you done the empty barbell?
Yes.
So you're holding
Yeah.
3 seconds.
Yeah, yeah,
What is the best speed on that?
I could find. No, but I did do this. I think it is like I don't think it's worthwhile to like maximize in the same
No,
like in the
what you're
same.
gonna find is that most of the strong people can move the bar faster.
Yes.
So like
Yes.
when Faye had an Olympic caliber shot putter at like a national throws clinic, do it. They were in the 4 meters per second on just an empty 45-pound bar, hold it in your chest for 3 seconds and then explode up. Whereas most of the kids that can bench anywhere between, 135 to 315 are moving it in the like, let's say 1 to 3 meters per second. Nobody's touching that threshold because absolute strength dictates how fast every other quality is. It might not be a straight line, but there's a curve to it.
Curious your thoughts, like, because like we're kind of touching upon multiple disciplines here versus like general strength and then
Mhm.
some more of that like athletic, like sprinting, like the muscles have to work slightly differently, like energy systems. And me and you were both trainers at one point, and the most basic thing that you learn is the set principle, like
Yep.
adaptations to imposed demand.
Yeah.
And it can be kind of like there's obviously nuances to that, but I do wonder, like, because my coach at one time was like very heavily into powerlifting, like solely, and now he does a lot more sprint training, a lot more plyometric training. He still lifts heavy, but we had a discussion about this a while ago because he made a couple videos about like training for athleticism, training for longevity. And he said that like sprinting is one of the best things that you can do to keep that like longevity, that intensity, like being able to move violently. And I was saying, like, should my training be different? Because like I'm not sprinting. I used to be a sprinter, like all that stuff, but if I tried to do that now, I probably would pull my hamstring. So I'm wondering like how much of that pie are you able to slice where you could still be like going to powerlifting competitions, but then also like where's the line in the sand that you have to draw?
So last summer before the lift probably easy, I put my hamstring in a 100-meter race the week before.
Well, and I think that what it comes down to is, are you doing the sprinting to be a good sprinter? Or, the explaining people with powerlifting, everything that you do. My big shift from bodybuilding to powerlifting was, I didn't do arm day, I didn't do bench, I didn't do chest day, leg day.
Right.
I did squat day, some bench press. No, but every day was deadlift day. Everything I did there was to development.
Right.
Oh, yeah, it's like, I don't do fucking arm curl.
Right.
Somebody's like, I just like dumbbell curls, working fucking arms. No, I get tendonitis from fucking squatting.
Yeah.
So this is literally to ease up the tendonitis of my squat day. Everything I do, that's to keep things up. And then I did the sprinting. It wasn't for a better sprinter. It was conditioning work, recovery work.
Yeah, so I guess it changes like what the purpose of it
Depending on
is.
your goals and what you value. So like whatever you value, like if you, let's say that,
I just think there's only so much time in the day too, like,
and
workday,
that's where it gets more
come home,
complicated.
like, 3 hours training or
If
something.
you're specifically a power lifter, you don't need to sprint,
Yeah,
but there may be a time and a place where you say, I hit a plateau trying to just grind out all of these heavy weights, singles, doubles, triples, whatever it is. maybe I need to back off that a little bit. Or maybe I need to add something else. So like you could do like chain resistant sprints
Yeah.
where you have constant tension.
Right.
Like the problem with the sled is that once you break inertia, you know, it's kind of gliding.
Yeah.
So if you want like constant tension, you go with like a chain sprint or like Jock Bryan stuff where you just do a hill.
Yeah.
Like you don't care about, your times, but as you get acclimated to exposing that hamstring to greater velocities, you're not going to run as fast going uphill as you do on a straightaway. So if you slowly progress that stuff, if you're interested in it, then that may help to be able to get to the point where you can be more like a CrossFit athlete that has a more regimented.
They say
system.
like hybrid now is like the big buzzword, you know?
Yeah, and a lot of that is bad,
Yeah.
right? Where it's like people get bored of the main sports. So they say, how do I market something different?
Yeah.
And then everyone goes funnels into that.
I mean, it's a cool concept to think
Yeah.
about in like certain aspects, you know, the like lift heavy, run far type
Yeah.
of things. I mean, Nick Bear and like all those people are
Well,
doing
there
that.
was Ian, what's his name, that used to be affiliated with hybrid down in Miami or whatever, where it was like he was a CrossFit Games athlete that squatted 500 when he ran a 5 minute mile. And then when he squatted 600, he ran a 6 minute mile. And when he squatted 700, he ran a 7 minute mile. And it was just like you said, where it's like, there's only so much that you can actually apply.
Well, and that's them training for that fact. That's the key thing, but he's training for that, so everything that he's doing is.
Right. So as he was a CrossFit athlete, it was
It's not like he was
needed more.
beating powerlifting comps and just ran them in 7 minutes.
I just am like thinking about myself in this scenario of like how much bandwidth do I actually have, you know?
And
And I know
that's where a lot of experimentation will have to come in. Like you need to figure out what your most important thing in your training is, because like you said, you only have so many resources.
Yeah.
So like if running's just fun, like I like it because I suck at it.
Yeah.
I am god awful at sprinting. Like I ran a 16-second 100 where like Usain Bolt's almost done with his 200 by the time I run 100.
Steroid.
It is funny though that like
But it's just a lot of fun. Or like if you jump and a high jump, it's fun.
Yeah. I
It's
guess
a-
it doesn't always need to be like, what's like
Yeah,
the bolts of it.
yeah.
That-
It's like because a lot of people won't. Most people don't have the courage to show up and try. So if you're willing to show up and try in whatever you enjoy doing, that's probably the most important part.
I mean, I will say that like I've seen it described as imagine a 2 gallon jug, right? A 2 gallon jug is the amount of total stress that your body can handle. Fill it up however you can, right? So 80% is training, 10% is stress, 20% is endurance work now. And then you've got poor sleep on top. Oh, you're starting to spill over the top, right? So like maybe your stress is really low, right? Like you don't have a lot going on at work, you're getting good sleep, you can start pushing the endurance work a little bit more, start pushing your training a little bit more. But fundamental, and everybody's stress level is different, right? Internally, like your whatever your stress load is. And like if you have a really weak endurance stress load, then you can't push that as much, right? Because everything is fundamentally different within those bands. So you've got this 2 liter jug, but like you can't deal with, let's say you can't deal with work stress very well, then that'll fill up a disproportionate amount of your bucket, right? But you can handle training stress phenomenally well, right? So you can recover like, oh man, I can just blast volume all day, but one thing goes wrong at work and you can't sleep at night and you're getting terrible sleep. Then you got to know where your like this is going back to it. Like I feel like I'm banging the drum. I'm like know where your weaknesses are and work on them because that will address your overall stress bucket, right? Like whatever you can break it down to a specific exercise, specific stressor, whatever. But I don't think it ever hurts to get better at whatever your weak point is. If it's like if your goals are to get stronger and you have shit endurance and like you can't do a set of 10 without getting absolutely gassed, you should probably work on your endurance a little bit, right? But like let's do the opposite extreme. Me, good example. I can run for days, but my max is shit. It's like, well, man, maybe you should stop running so much, right? Like maybe you should work on getting stronger. You know, like
some middle ground.
there's and like the guys who are doing that 500 5 mile, like they are 5 minute mile, like there are maybe a handful of people on the planet that could do that.
Yeah.
Right? Like how many people realistically could do that on the planet?
And again, that's stupid human. That's somebody trained for.
Right.
For a part, it is totally.
It comes down, like talking about the training, this is where I'm saying, if you're looking up your maxes, well, you're gonna have to adjust that burns. Because everything is focused on what is your goal, so like if your goal is powerlifting, you still wanna do sprinting, that's an accessory work. That's the thing, doing try press down.
Right.
Like that, right? Let's throw some sprints in, 600 meter sprints, 6x100 on hill. And run that for 6 months, we talked about doing 6 month blocks, because that's a 6 month block just determines whether your rolling fucking tricep extension and your steel roll grows, helps to boost your steel roll. You're gonna go.
So elite, so delicious.
Wait, guys, we're going out to club some baby seals, right?
Yeah.
It's so delicious.
So it's like those sprints are an accessory to your, if you start throwing
Right.
8x100s or 6x100s, and suddenly your squats and deadlifts are starting to feel better. That's a good session.
Yeah.
It's time to, when it doesn't stop, it's like, okay, you know what, let's do with a weight vest and on a hill to see what it is.
Yeah.
So it's just the adjusting, because again,
Well,
that's an accessory.
and especially like it comes down to like training economy too. It's like, how can you cut everything back as much as possible so that you're not spending, like, if you only have X amount of time.
Yeah.
Like,
Or bucket. If you
Yeah.
have the
Right.
bucket or the time,
right.
well, let's
Like if I only have an hour and a half to train, I've got a half hour that's gonna be sprinting or jumping. I've got a half hour for the main lift, then I have a half hour for accessory.
Yeah.
And it's like,
the
however,
next day.
right,
You know what I mean?
Right.
I do a 4-day-a-week lift.
right.
And you got,
Especially if the main lift's going well, sometimes it takes an hour.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, I'm gonna just hit my like decompression, reverse hypers or whatever, and then go home.
I will say too that like if you find an accessory that's working for you, milk it.
Oh yeah.
Milk it is like because those in particular, accessory work in particular, is so hyper specific to you as a person. So like you're getting a really good pump over cable crossover, right? But you're doing dumbbell flies and your shoulders are just taking over, right?
Yeah.
It's like, what? Don't do dumbbell flies then.
Yeah.
Just like milk cable crossovers because you
Don't
like
put
them.
them
And
Yeah.
yeah,
And there's
That's right.
And I'll say leave.
yeah,
Well, once I switched, it stopped working.
yeah, exactly.
I can't remember if it was
Dan John.
John or what was talking, somebody, some very high level weightlifter does the same routine for their warm up for the last 20 years. But once you change it, he's like, why would I change it? It still works.
Right.
I'll change it when it stops working. When I start to regress, then I'll adjust.
Yep.
Well, and that's another thing that people forget too, is like, you need to pay attention to what you're doing on your accessories too. Like, if you're not paying attention to where you were or if it's progressing, you don't know if it was that was doing something or not. Which goes back to like why I like jump so much, because it's like, if I have a bad squat day, I can push my accessories, and if I push my accessories, when I go back to jumping before I deadlift or whatever I do, those numbers are probably, they might not be PRs, but they may be progressing on the upward trajectory. And that shows that I'm doing something right, because the jump is just relative strength.
Progress.
Whereas like some days where it's like you might have a great squat and then everything else crashes out and then it doesn't move the needle, and it's like, okay, well maybe this is a problem. Or you dumped everything into 1 rep max, where then your nervous system's just like, nah, dude, we need to chill. This is something that I talked to Bryce a lot about. Like he'll have a big pull where he pulled, what was it, 705 for 6. He made cook for 3 weeks. where he's not gonna be able to pull something big. And prior to like me mentioning to him that like your strength may vary 10% in a day, especially with dehydration and anything else. And for him, that's 70 pounds, that's 80 pounds.
Yeah.
So it's like some days 705 won't pull off the floor, and then other days he hits it for 6.
For no reason.
Yep.
Any
And
day at work.
yeah, like especially with Paul. Paul couldn't pull like 550 one day. I was like, cool, take a break, go home.
Yeah.
Go see your wife. Like prioritize the things that matter. And then at the meet, 2 weeks out, he pulls 585 for 2, and he pulls 617 at the meet. I was like, oh, well,
I think
managing stress.
I think one thing, and it's more common with like, I think there are more variables with squat than there are with deads and benches. But like, if you have a really bad squat day, go on a Smith machine and just do some Smith machine squats.
Yeah.
And try and assess through that, right? Because like, if you're getting pitched, like let's say you had a really shitty session because you just weren't feeling your center of gravity that day, right? And you're shooting your hips or whatever, but like you go on a Smith machine squat and you're still banging out the same weight for the same reps because it's literally like you're literally locked into the machine. It's a straight line, there are less variables there. Have you actually lost strength, or was it just a bad session, right? And that's a good way of comparing, like, okay, still an accessory movement, but still a valid way of assessing your overall strength levels, right? Because like you're taking out all the fundamentals of the movement, you're just breaking it down to this is a little bit more isolationist. We're going to look at it. This is a place where I can assess, was this just a misgroove or did I actually progress?
Yeah.
Right. So another reason why accessory work is valid because it can assess regression in your strength overall, right? And I think that is where it with complex movements too.
Yeah.
So like you can just break it down and say, okay, maybe my leg extension isn't going to help, but like if I get on whoa, I know, the third rail.
I thought we were doing all of this to improve our legs.
I mean, what are we even doing? What are we even doing? Good day, sir.
Shall sleep outside.
But like if you are doing leg press, right, and you're still moving leg press as your accessory for the same weight, even if you had a shitty squat session, like maybe you shouldn't bail so quick. Like maybe you should just be like, okay, I'm gonna chalk this up to a bad session, right? And stay with it, right? So
Some days are diamonds, some days are fucking. coke.
that's right. I think accessories are a good way to check that, right? So
There are days. Which is, I'm like, you know what, everything's so diverse, it's doing that five, I said, fucking same. It just wasn't there, it's something.
Yeah.
So
Whatever it wasn't a good day.
do you go off program when you feel good though? You send it the other way? Because you're willing to pull back when you don't feel good.
It's built into my program.
So yeah, you give yourself a little leash and then go up. Yeah, because if you're willing to pull
Well,
back,
well,
you should be willing. to push
dude,
forward.
I have redlined way too much in my life.
You
to
can't
do
trust
that.
yourself.
I can't trust myself
So-
anymore.
But the days of pulling back, the days when I pull back, because I know that going forward is gonna be tough and injury.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, you're just being a fucking pussy, it's like something is not right today, so you know what? Just not gonna fucking push it, I'll put a couple of fucking reps in just
So
to get some reps.
training age plays a big part of that too. Like I will always chip a 5-pound PR on whatever lift I'm doing, because I'll always do variations of the main lift. But it's gonna be so similar that I track like three to six lifts that I just do for, let's say, one a month or twice a week for 3 months or whatever, and constantly rotate. But I take a 5-pound PR, whereas younger lifters that haven't, they're 21, 22, they might take more aggressive jumps because they've adapted to the training faster than I can. So like they might take that first chip, and based on how that speed looks in that rep, just visualization or using like an OVR device or whatever, it's like, oh, okay, you're good, you're balling today, but let's unleash you a little bit. But it also depends on how they feel afterwards, because like I've had kids that can, they're balling when they hit the 5-pound PR, and then as soon as they go to unrack it, they're too happy about their past performance that they're not tight enough in that second attempt that it looks like shit, and I just tell them to rack it. like Matt is notorious for that, where it's like he'll full send the hell out of it, and then the next rep, it's like he forgot everything that he's doing, and it's like just rack it. No, we're calling that event. So it's always so variable, and that's where like coaching or just like knowing yourself and being honest with where you are that day.
Yeah.
Because like there's so many times where I want to pretend like I think something moves like shit. I say, nah, it'll be fine. We're gonna be balling, and then I just get stapled.
Make your own programming.
Yeah, I just make stuff up.
I'm coached. I'm being coached. You're being coached. You're right.
I'm being coached right now.
You
I'm
are
being
coached.
yeah.
I'm just joking on.
So you're technically.
We got a good mix.
So, I mean, I guess that's another like element too, is like the difference between following what someone else is programming for you versus like yourself, like you're making your own program. So how do you govern?
One of my personalities is making.
I have a coach.
Yeah.
It's the programming. It's a good question of like,
Yeah, so
do you know yourself to be an undershooter or an
Well,
overshooter?
for myself, going back like the 4 years in
Yeah.
time, when I transitioned, so I was doing like martial arts and calisthenics. So I, eventually got interested in the weightlifting because of how like, it's just, you can put 5 pounds on the bar. It's very tactile, there's this feeling of being able to see progression somewhat quickly. However, there was a point in time where I started to wonder to myself, like, will I hit those beginner milestones, in quotations of like the, 2 plate bench, yeah, like
Yeah.
a 405 deadlift and stuff. And so that's when I felt like it was necessary to like find somebody with that skin in the game, the experience, seeing that they have both like practical and technical knowledge and are able to help somebody kind of overcome some of those smaller little things.
Well,
It's an objective. That's a good key. But
Yeah.
Hardest part of it lifting home is watch my squat. Something doesn't
Right.
fucking feel right. It's like, dude, I'm shifting your hip to the left.
Yeah,
Like
I
you
was
you don't have something like that.
Also, like I say, I do my own programming, but then at the same time, we have conversations constantly about training.
Yeah, like this is like
Then there's other group chats like with Paul and Bryce where I talk to them constantly about all of our lifts, and we send each other videos of our lifts.
Yeah.
And then there's other coaches that I'll talk to that are watching my lifts and giving me cues and stuff like that. So it's like there's a network of people that are seeing what either I'm doing or my athletes are doing, or like just commenting on and like watching their athletes doing things.
Yeah.
So like, even though I'm making the program myself, there's a whole network and a whole community of people that are like not technically.
And those are, it's a good point that those are actually two separate things you're talking about. One is technique feedback,
Right.
right? The other is programming feedback.
Right.
And programming feedback and technique feedback are not the same.
Right.
So like, if you've been doing it for 20 years, you kind of know what your general program, you like, you can get a coach and they're going to help you around the fringes maybe, but like only so many ways to skin a cat, right? Like there are only so many days in a week, 7 days in a week. And like, there are only so many splits you can do and so many exercises. And like, how are you going to cut this up? But the technique thing is like, that's where you're really getting in the weeds as an advanced lifter, where you're saying like, this is where I need somebody else's eyes based on their experience to say like, hey, what if you turn your knees out a little bit, or maybe some kind of cue, right? Like we were talking about earlier, how different cues land with different people. Like some people you hear like corkscrew your feet into the ground, and you're like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what the hell are you talking about? And then like somebody else hears it and they're like, oh my God, yeah. And their squat rockets off that. Or like, oh, like break the tension out of the bar, and you tell somebody else, just grip it and rip it, man. And those are like kind of two completely different cues, right? But they might have different impacts on different people. So that's where I think coaching really, like, to your point about like, where does coaching come in? You have to think about like, how are you using your coach? are you having your coach rein in because you're an overshooter or push you because you're an undershooter? Are you having your coach write your programming because you just want somebody else to do it or just don't have the training experience to do it? Or do you want the technique cues?
Yeah.
And like, you got to tell your coach that, right? Like, you got to tell your coach what you're doing because there are different programs for different. Like, Juggernaut's very, very good at writing your program. They're probably not going to help you with technique cues, right? And like, if you're telling a coach, like, I need you to tell me how much weight to lift here, you got to tell them that. Like, you got to say, like, I need you to tell me not to undershoot or to push me because I'm sandbagging.
That's me for, like, the biggest thing I'll use programming for is make sure that I'm not doing too much.
Too much. Yeah.
Here's your window, stay in this friggin' window. That's why, like I said, if something's coming up and I'm like, I'm feeling good. I push because I'm looking at today, this fucking feels good, man. Let's look another 20. Where they're doing today is also fueling what's happening the next 2 weeks.
Right.
So if I push the list, that's gonna monkey stuff around a little bit.
I think that there is a tendency with weightlifters to want to overshoot, but overshooting is way more detrimental to your overall long-term training than undershooting. Like, if you sandbag it a little, it might take you longer, but you're probably going to get there. Overshooting can lead to major, speaking from experience, and like a lot of people around this table can probably agree, like, overshooting can lead to injuries that will nag for a long fucking time. Yeah, and we all have stories about it,
Never
you
got
know?
better.
Yep.
Never get-
So I think that, like,
Rudy had a couple of nights to be there for
Right?
Rotating out of having work.
yeah. Why they're called rotator cuffs.
When you're 22, they die and go to heaven. It's fine. All rotated
But I
cups
think
go to
that
heaven, right?
is that my program is done. Jake gets a fucking big chat at the end of every week. Hey, this went good. This went good. Hey, listen, I backed off a little bit. I didn't push it too hard, but I like ended up only getting a 4 hours sleep, and I had to run around with this at work and this and that, and I wasn't fueled up very well, so it wasn't a good day. So just keep running the program this day, or like, this past week's overhead work. I'm like, this did not go well today, and it was 3 days in a row. So let's maybe back that off next week, and
Yeah.
let's just see if it was just a blip or what, and then just gonna take that.
Here's a question for everyone based on different, and this goes for online training too. When do you push back hard on your coach where they're saying, like, you got to do this or you got to do that, and you're like, hey man, this is like, we got to do, like, this is not working. When do you guys do that? I'm curious.
That's their interview process. I've interviewed every coach that I've ever had, and they've interviewed me. And I've had people, we get done for a little hour-long chat, but he's like, I don't think we're a good match. I'm like, yeah, I think you're right. I don't think we're a good match. But it's finding that right. It's a date. It's a relationship. And it is, if you get the guy that's, if I get a coach tell me, you must do this, I'm not going to be fucking working with
Yep.
Yeah.
because there's no must in anything.
Yeah.
I mean, and
Very,
it's very funny. Like, I fucking love Jake, man. He works around a lot of goddamn issues that I have. We for Lift Hard, Lift Easy last year, we were doing accent press. I'm like, hey, I can press fucking accent. So we're gonna have to do something else. He's like, I can do law. Okay. So we danced around and did law. I didn't touch an axle for months until literally game day. Right. But then there's never anything was no, you must do this because, one day I was doing hip thrusts. I'm like, these entirely do not feel good. Like, not, ooh, these are hard. Something doesn't feel right in my pelvis when I do these. But okay, let's adjust and shit. And it's not pussyitis. I wasn't bitching out on it. It's like, there's something extremely uncomfortable about this, and I'm not going to do it.
Oh yeah.
He realized I wasn't sitting there crying about it because, like, I don't like split squats. Split squats sucks, but I'll do them all day. Right? But
I'm curious with online programming. Like, when does Juggernaut tell you something? You're just like, hey, no, man, like, I'm not doing my recommended training here.
I'd say the biggest thing with Juggernaut is like you'll have a, and it's I'm a new lifter,
Yeah.
so for me it's like hard to tell like when do we pull back, when do we push hard. But there'll be a week where like deadlifts, it'll be 4 sets of 3 at 485. Awesome, they go great. Finish in the RPE window, and you say this is awesome. And then the next week you'll say, okay, 405 for 3, and you're like, what the fuck is this? And then you take that 405 for 3, and he's looking at the RPE window, and I'm like, all right, you want me to leave 4 in the tank? There you go. I just did fucking 10 or 12. And then the next one goes, all right, you want to do 485 for 3? It's like, all right, well, what the hell do I do here? Because it sounds like you don't even know what the fuck you're doing. So it's like, I don't know, it's just strange because like I'm still in that spot too, with like technique is still growing. Like I was just talking today about like how leg drive suddenly is starting to click. So it's like I don't know if it's picking up on the RPE window and it's saying, oh, this guy has no fucking clue what he's doing, so let's roll it back. Or if it's just a matter of as I train, the technique gets there and it gets better, so things just move. Because I haven't hit a solo point yet, you know. It's like if you give me the number, I'm gonna do the number. Whether it's something where I say to myself, awesome. Like, for example, I have squats. My best in competition was 417. Last week, the week before last, I did 385 for 5. And I looked at 385 and I was like, oh, damn, I don't know about that. And did it, no problem. Got to 4 and I said, I think we got another 2 in there. Let's do the 1. Okay, there's 5. 1 in the tank, great. I think it's just a matter of you gotta do what it says, trust the system, just
Process.
but also at the same time you have to like there's so many different variables. It's not like a coach that watches your videos and he says, hey man, you look really good, so let's do this. This is just like, I don't know, keep it in that window of RPE 6 to 5. You know, like,
Are you getting better at dialed in with your RPEs? Do you feel?
no. You know what I mean? Like, it's like
It's not at 6 and then just like red line.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
Just tell me what to fucking do. Don't tell me I'm in the tank. Just say,
yeah.
do 9 and I'll do 9.
I will say it totally depends on the exercise,
Yeah.
right? Like squats, I got 4 more until I don't,
Yeah.
right? Like no joke.
totally
I mean, like I literally have 4 more in the tank until the bar staples me in half. But like bench press, I know.
Today.
Yeah. But bench press, I know that I got 1 more.
Yeah.
And then that's that. And then
That's
like,
pretty well the only level I got.
Yeah.
I'm sitting at the top, I'm like, I'm not committed to this.
no,
But it doesn't help when they say, yo, you hit 7.
I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, there's a level of and it is a technique that you learn like everything else. I do get that. But there is value in a coach of just saying, do this for this many reps. Don't worry about percentages. Don't worry about anything. Like this is
If you get a
what
coach
it
that
is.
knows you well after a while, they're able to say.
They know your speed. They know your
your
max.
speed.
They know what you
Just watching the last friggin' 2 weeks, you're doing shit and you're gradually slowing down a bit. I'm gonna drop you back to sets of 6 for the next 2 weeks there.
Yeah.
Not full pause, we're just gonna drop a gear, load it in, and then we're gonna come back harder. It's like, okay, that's
Yeah.
Love it.
you know, like you're the one looking at it objectively over time and period, not just like, hey, yesterday sucked or yesterday was great. It's like, I watched the last 4 weeks and things were going great. The last 2 weeks it dropped. So I'm gonna drop you a little bit, just to kind of boost the system a little bit, and then we're gonna come back and hit a little harder next week to see if it was just a blip or if we gotta change something.
Yeah.
Like that's sort of like a bit the human coach that knows you, it's a year now, so.
Well, especially where so many people are so different too, where it's like certain people will hit like you said, like you're gonna hit 5 reps or 4 reps until you don't, and then others like I don't hit many reps at all. I'm in that like 1 to 5 range for all main lifts, and then accessories is where I'll hit more volume. But I want to live in that 1 to 5 reps all the time.
I had coach at fucking record. You know, a guy I hired. Shoulder. And he would just give me cookies ton of shit.
Yeah.
I don't, that's where I learned to interview people. This guy was a very well respected dude. That's where I learned to interview coaches. Right. And I've had friends like, I'm trying to shift into this and they're saying I have to do this and that. I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. Like, but it's all about effect. Okay, if you need to fix your triple extension, okay, well, you can do safety squat bar front squats, or you can do front squats, or you can do back extensions, or you can do stone loading. So like, there's a whole pile of way to do it. It's not the, oh, the only thing you have to do on this is front squat. Because when you get something, I don't front squat, well, okay, then you're not gonna fucking get any better. You gotta do a variation of it.
Right.
It doesn't matter what, if you wanna get a better press, you gotta do log, axle, fucking peg, or sandbag, or search dumbbell, whatever, but like you need to do an overhead press. Well, I don't want the word press. Well, fucking welcome to being mediocre.
You gotta find some kind of entry point. Like you don't like front squats, let's get you in the hack squat machine.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's just something, right?
No,
Just to like get you in
So when
there.
you're strong inside, I look at it as the effect.
Yeah.
Like, for these things are not so much about the squat, because we generally don't squat in strongman, but it's to improve your triple extension on still loading or bag loading.
Right.
Mhm.
Or
Mhm.
fucking bag toss, getting that triple extension rate, that explosiveness, right? So it's more of the effect that you're looking for versus trying to improve a bench press or a squat. You're trying to improve that triple extension or the overhead press.
You're moving more towards like a front squash, like the force specificity of how does this exercise get as close as possible to the event that I'm doing, and how will it transfer to that event? Whereas like a low bar back squat doesn't, like jumping or triple extension, stuff like that, where like a low bar back squat is more of a hinge. It's not going to transfer as well as like a high bar or front squat.
Well, and again, I've done comps and it's like, hey, guess what? It's raining, we're not doing stones for a safety issue, so we're gonna do a loading medley with kegs. You're like, you just gotta get some.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, it's obviously because I didn't practice with kegs. You just have to be strong in a triple extension, dude. You're strong for the keg, for the stone. You're strong for the friggin' kegs. Just deal with it, Well, we were supposed to do a log press. The fucking log fell off the trailer and snapped the pin on it, dude. We're doing an axle. But I didn't train axle. Fucking sucks to be you then. You gotta have a good price.
So I remember one of the Dr. Squat quotes from back in the day was he said that the ultimate test of fitness was to bring a 50-pound crate, just a crate, right? Just like a moving box up a five flights of stairs. See how many times you can do it. And I think that we overcomplicate training sometimes. And like, if you did that every single day, if you picked up a 50-pound box and brought it up 5 flights of stairs for 20 reps every single day, you'd be strong as a fucking ox. And you'd be able to compete in most strongman competitions and do pretty fucking well.
You know what? I would
Right?
say you'd be strong to a level.
Yeah.
Like, so when I started lifting at 16. Played rugby my first year in high school, got my ass fucking kicked for the 150-pound friggin' bridge troll. So Dad's like, we're hitting the weights. I'm like, okay. So he hired me a trainer at this health club. And at the time, there was no knowledge. And I still remember it's just so funny looking back at that. But he's like, okay, squat, 3 sets of 10, let's go.
So yeah.
Okay,
Love it.
bench press, one plate, 3 sets of 10.
3 sets of 10, baby. I love it. Yes.
3 sets of 10. So I literally did a full body thing and I'm like, okay. He's like, so when you come in tomorrow, here's your sheet, just tick it off that you got it done. I did the same fucking routine for a full year.
Yeah.
I did not breath overload.
You got
there was no
strong.
1986, dude.
Yeah.
But I got stronger, I got fitter. I didn't get super strong, I got stronger.
Yeah.
But I was doing 3 sets of 10 every day. I was doing
Yeah.
this exact same thing. So it got me to a certain level. Then later I was like, oh, overload. Okay.
Yeah, there's nuance
Like,
there.
this is shit.
Right.
Why would I fucking put
Right.
a plate and a quarter on here? Oh, that is a different feeling. Right?
I guess what I'm saying is like it's like the point I'm trying to make is like there's an entry point,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like there's
And
it's such a low entry point. It's like, oh, I can't do front squats, I can't do this. It's like pick up this box, go up 10 flights of stairs, come back down. Like just do that then. You know,
Army guys. Oh, wish I could do like you, but my doctor said that I'm not allowed to do exercise. Bull fucking shit said that. No doctor has ever said do 0 exercise. Like, no, he said, like, you go for a shit at least once a day. Well, yeah. Like, guess what?
you squatted.
I'm like, I do literally sit on the toilet 3 fucking time.
Do you drop a pen and pick it up off the ground? Guess what? You just did a stiff leg deadlift. Yeah.
Fucking get some fitness going, get some movement going, and that base level will bring you to a point. It's like Jim Wendler says, I think it was Jim Wendler, talks about going to the gym and training to be fit to start training.
Right.
You don't just walk in and start,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm 12 weeks out from lift hard, live easy, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Coach, you're not doing that, dude.
Right.
You need to get yourself ready. Get, you know, a little GPP going on, get the body rest ready for movement. Oh, like I said, you're on the sprint, taking 4 or 5 steps to get a little bit of speed going,
Right.
and then you hit the button.
I love it, right?
Can't wait to train now. I'm amped up.
Fucking brother, let's go.
I love it.
Only they're
Under the base.
Oh, basement.
Is that podcast? Did we just do a
Yeah.
podcast?
Did we just podcast?
Did we just podcast? Can I have?
I don't think you hit record.
Did I not hit record?
I gotta check on something.
I don't see anything red or flashing.
That's it. Recording in progress. Fuck, man, that was a hell of a chat for no audience.
I think it's still. I learned something.
Always